If you're an OnlyFans creator earning anything from $1,000 to $10,000 a month, and you've been stuck there for months, and you're working with some people and like you're not sure if they're good, or maybe deep down you know that they're really not good, but you're like not sure who to go with, because you don't want to be on your own again, but you also don't want to work with like another shit team, and like everybody looks the same in the DMs, all saying, hey, we're gonna scale your page, hey, we can help you grow, like hundreds a week of the same people, and their page looks random, and the results, you don't know if they're real or fake, maybe there's just a ton of screenshots on the page, or just random content, and you just do not know who to trust. Then this video is gonna go over the different points that I've seen from being in this game for a long time, and I've talked to a lot of creators, and so I've heard all the same things, and so I know the signs that an agency is bad and that you shouldn't trust them versus the good ones. And so hopefully this video will give some clarity so you can actually like find the right team, you know, because if your goal is to scale it all, like if you want to grow to, let's say you want to get to 50,000 a month or 100,000 a month, or maybe, you know, just a little 20,000 a month or 50, and you'd be happy, you know, but you need to work with the right people to do that. And you know that, but the truth is that like, since everyone's shit, you cannot spend like another year, 2 years trying to find them, because then what? You know, like you don't want to be like 40 years old still sending custom requests at like 3 a.m. just to make your rent, right? And so this video is gonna try to clear up how you can actually like find like an actual team that's gonna like take you to that next step, you know, not just like another like agency that's just like a kid that fucking has no idea what they're doing, just promising you the world and like having no results, right? And so we're gonna start with some like the more obvious signs, and then we're gonna get into like what the less obvious ones can be. And then at the end, we'll get into like, okay, what should you actually look for, right? So the first thing should be the generic DMs, right? The people just begging to work with you, and it seems like they work with everyone. If people work with everyone, then they specialize in helping like nobody, right? And they're just saying, hey, like we noticed your page has a ton of potential, like we can help you grow. You're gonna make it to like 10K a month so fast, or whatever number. You know, we saw that you have a ton of potential, and then like you talk to them and they're like, okay, so what do you do? And they're like, well, we have the best chatters and our traffic systems are like amazing, and we're gonna bring you like this many subs, right? All those random promises, they mean nothing, right? What you should look for, instead of just like huge promises with no basis behind it, is an actual process. You know, like, okay, what is the actual process that I can get to this number? Because actual agencies or teams understand that you can't help everybody. There's a certain type of person that you're able to help. And so if you just will work with anyone, then you specialize in helping nobody, right? And so you don't, like people who are faceless or just barely have any content, you need to be really careful about that. Because I've even looked at pages and seen my lifestyle highlights on there, or my results. And it ruins the name of this industry, which it's actually insane. I cannot believe how many people like in this industry, it's like the course selling community, but on steroids, where it's just a whole bunch of randomness. And nobody knows what they're doing. Like some of the creators I've talked to, I've seen their agency, they've been at 60K a month, and somehow their agency's taken them down to 3K a month, which I have no clue how that is possible, but I've seen it. If you're working with an agency now, you need to go check these things to see if they're correct, you know? And so the first most obvious thing is gonna be your chatting, right? What do the chats look like? Like, do the people actually understand English? You know, if you're getting 10 paid subs a day, are you making 10,000 a month? Because if you're not, then your chats are probably not being monetized like they should be. If you're seeing like the demon emojis, the sweaty emojis, like let's face it, these are Filipino chatters for $3 an hour, and like they're not trained either, because like not all Filipinos are shit, but clearly they don't know what they're doing. And so you have to have good chats. They have to understand what they're doing. There should be like a monetization system on your OF page that they've clearly explained to you. Like the welcome message makes sense. There's pen posts, there's strategy behind that, there's scripting, like all that needs to be going on. And like the chatting is where most of the money is made. And so if you're letting your chat team slack, like you're not gonna be maximizing your traffic, you're not gonna be maximizing like the highest leverage point of your OnlyFans. And so you cannot tolerate a bad chatting team if you're serious at all about making money, right? And so the next thing that you need to watch out for is slow replies. First of all, whether it's on the chat or it's to you, people who reply slow are not serious. Like anyone in business understands the most important thing is replying quickly and doing things quickly. And so what do they say they're gonna do things and then they don't do it, or they're like, hey, we're gonna start this traffic source. And then they start the traffic source and like 2 weeks later, they kind of like stop doing the traffic source. And like, hey, we're gonna start these next traffic sources, and they're like all over the place versus like, no, we're gonna dial in here. This is how long it might take. And we're gonna focus on this and we keep producing, and this is how we're gonna get here. And that's another thing. Like weekly, they should be sending you reviews of where everything's at. They should be telling you numbers that maybe you don't even know about because they're tracking the data. And so if you go ask them, hey, what's my average view per reel? Or hey, what's the average fan spin? Like they should know these numbers because those numbers are how you optimize the page in the first place. And so if they don't have those numbers, either one, they don't understand it, or two, they're not taking your page seriously. And like, if they're not taking your page seriously, it's not gonna work, You're not gonna get to 50K a month consistently by some like stroke of luck. Like there has to be like an actual strategy that you understand and that is clearly put out in order for you to get there, because results can be fake. Case studies can be fake. Hype is fake. What's real is a process, They should have told you, like, look, it might take 6 months to get to your goal. Like, it might take that long, but in some cases, it may take 1 month. It really depends on how everything goes. However, like, this is the process, so we know that you're gonna get there, right? And so process is so much more important than hype because a process works and a process can grow. Hype is just that. Like, if you're wondering every week, what content do I create? Like, if they're not giving you like clear content every week, look, this is what we need for Onlyfans. This is what we need for Instagram. If they're not giving you and they don't know what they need and they just tell you to figure it out, come on, like this is not a real team. This doesn't work. And so then you're thinking, okay, well maybe, how do I find a good team? Because everybody's DMing me the same shit. Everybody's saying the same thing. And the people messaging you shouldn't be like desperate to sign you. It doesn't mean like, oh, they can't want to work with you, but they should actually be like trying to understand where you're at and really trying to diagnose, can they help you in the first place? Like another thing, do they post content? Do they talk about their systems and do they talk about their processes? And do they show how they've taken creators from here to there and not just random screenshots? Because I fucking promise you, anyone can fake those. Everybody steals them. Like, that's just the truth, right? And so what's more important than a screenshot is fucking, do they explain how they can actually get you there? And so what you're gonna be looking for is clear goals and timelines, right? People to understand your situation and where you're at and figure out everything. Asking the little questions, figuring that out, and then giving you, you say a goal because you have your goal, right? And then saying, okay, here's your goal and here's exactly how we're gonna get to that goal. And then every week, the team is iterating. They're saying, okay, this is what happened this week. Here are the different things that we can improve. Here are the things that worked. Here are the things that didn't. And iterating that every single week to actually get to that goal, because that's how goal setting works. It's like new year, new me. Just write down the things I want and then do like fucking nothing to get there. It doesn't work. Like there has to be a constant system that you're using that analyzes where you're at. Communication should be clear. If you have a question about something, it should be clearly answered. Replies should be quick and they should make sense, right? And so don't worry about hype. Don't worry about the biggest promise. Worry about the clearest message, the clearest, this is what we do and this is how we do it. And that is the thing that will completely change the game. If you get the right team that fits what you actually need, but you have to find them. And like these random fucking kids are not gonna do it because it's ruining the agency name completely. Like this is why agencies are shit, and 90% plus are. And a lot of you have probably either worked with one agency where like nothing's happened, or you've worked with multiple and it's like always the same thing. The last thing is they're keeping data, right? If they're communicating with you daily, there's a clear process and a clear goal, they're consistent, and they're telling you what they're doing, they have the numbers and they're reviewing everything constantly, then you will get to that goal, because it might take, like you can be plateaued for multiple months. It's not like that is the issue, but you have to know that at the end of that plateau, you're gonna hit the exponential growth curve, because you don't wanna be on OF forever. Like the whole point of this platform is to create like real wealth if you take it seriously, because you know it's the potential. Like, you know it's possible to make 500K a month or 250K a month or 100K a month, whatever your goal is. You know it's possible, but what you don't know is who can actually take you there. So if you've been like juggling a lot of agencies, or you've worked with some and like a ton are in your DMs and you don't know who to work with, then you can apply in the YouTube bio or shoot me a message on IG, and we could just hop on a call and figure out, is your agency good, and audit everything. Like, figure out what's going on and what is like the clear next step. And like, I'm gonna be honest, like, we are not an agency, okay? So we don't just work with everybody. It's not just like, come sign up. Because there's only a certain type of person that we can even help in the first place. But if that's something you're interested in, and you know your page is going to shit, then those are the people that we help. You know, and if you don't feel like I know what I'm talking about yet, or you just want to like understand the processes a little more, then I have a link in the YouTube description of how we took a creator from 20K views a month to 30 million, or 30K views a month to 20 million a month in less than 30 days. And so this was a little bit of a quicker video, but it is fucking insane what this industry has been and turned into, right? It's not the same as 2022 at all. It's crazy. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Peace out. Let's print.